non-payment of rent, Your Honor.
What's the monthly rent?
Their rent is $118.
Okay. And what months do you allege that they owe?
November and December, both full months at $118. In January, I prorated for $76.12 for a total of $312.12.
Okay.
Oh, can I just,
Yes, I'll ask you.
Okay.
Ma'am, is there a reason why you were not able to meet your obligation?
Okay, so they took me in court in September, right? I paid $518, which I paid the court costs and all that. So when I came into October to try to pay October rent, because I didn't pay October, she told me that she could not take my rent because the fact that I had to pay that they said that it's the $2,500 supposedly I owe, that they knocked off the $518 off of that, and so they would not take my money order.
The case begins inside the courtroom with the judge asking a direct question about why the tenant failed to meet her rent obligation. The woman calmly explains that she had already been taken to court before and had paid $518 in court costs. She believed she was trying to stay on track, but despite her efforts, things quickly became more complicated than expected.
So it's actually from October, because she said, well, she wasn't supposed to take the $518 because the fact that she wanted me to make the whole money order for $2,000 and something, and I was like, well, what's that for? And she said, because my rent's only $118, so if you're giving me a paper saying $2,500, but you've already taken off the $518, and plus the other $5 when y'all took me to court the first time for non-renewal, and so I don't know where they add up all these extra charges. So I went in, I spoke to Crystal because I was like, it's not letting me get on the portal. And I even showed her that it was not showing me anything. And she said, okay, it's probably IT. We'll fix it. So when they did fix it, I'm like, well, it's still saying like the 25, it's not letting me pay nothing. So when I tried to go in with the money order for October, the lady told me that she could not take it. The Crystal shouldn't have taken the money order because sometimes they're open on Saturday and Sunday, sometimes they're not.
She explains that when she tried to pay her October rent, the property management refused to accept her payment. Instead of taking the regular rent, they demanded a much larger amount. Even her money order was rejected, leaving her confused and unable to understand why her payment was not being accepted.
So I wasn't sure they're open, so I did call Crystal and I said, I'm on my way. She said, well, I'm about to leave. It was like already, it was 5. She said, but hold on. She spoke to somebody else. They said, as long as you bring the money order early in the morning the next day, which I did. I took it early in the morning, and then the other lady, I guess is in charge of Crystal, said, well, she wasn't supposed to take it because she already had put the 24-hour thing. And I'm like, okay, well, she still took my money order. So when I tried to go in October to pay the $118, she was like, oh, I can't take it because you got to pay the full amount of the 25. So it started off in April at 2. Then we went to court. Then I paid what I had to pay, the $518. And then it went to like, when they gave me the paper that's attached to this one, it says November for $2,500.
Yeah.
So now they changed companies. So when I log into the portal,
The situation escalated when she was suddenly told that she owed around $2,500. This shocked her because her monthly rent was only about $118. She couldn't figure out how such a large amount had built up so quickly, and none of the added charges were clearly explained to her.
It wasn't showing me anything, but when I was telling Crystal, because I even emailed her, I was like, well, what are all these legal fees on the amount? Because there was a legal fee for like $300, one for $400. I'm like, y'all didn't take me to court that many times to have all these legal fees, so I don't know where these legal fees are coming from. And she said, well, they were going to fix it. But she refused my money order. And when the new owners came and they were talking to me, I did tell them, I said, she didn't want to take my money order. So actually it's for October too. So I don't know if I don't know what happened to October. So it should have showed October, because I'm not going to sit here and lie and say, you know what I mean? That I did pay October when I know I didn't, because that's a lie, because they refused my money order.
Wow. Okay.
Because even if I pay the court costs now, I'm still going to be in the same position, because when I go and try to pay the rent again, they're going to say I still owe that amount. So So either way it goes, I'm still in a.
Adding to the frustration, the tenant says she couldn't even access the online payment portal. She contacted management and showed them the issue, and although they promised to fix it, the problem continued. Even after the system was updated, she still couldn't make any payments through the portal.
So you had already been taken to court before?
Yeah, and I paid the 518, the 400 and the 518, but she refused October's check money order because she said I had to pay the whole amount, which was the 25, like the 2,500. And I'm like, well, I'm paying what, the 400 and the 118, and that's what I paid.
Well, that's a little confusing because if your
that's
rent.
what I'm saying.
Okay.
I don't know where they got 2,500, and she said that already took off the 518. Plus the other 5 when they said that I didn't renew my lease, which I did, so that got dismissed. So they said they took off the court costs. I'm like, okay, so then you're telling me that I owe $3,000?
Okay.
Because if you go to that page, because I have all my paperwork, so
The confusion deepened when she received conflicting instructions from staff. One employee told her to bring the payment the next morning, which she did. However, another staff member refused to accept it again, saying it went against policy. This left her stuck, unsure of what she was supposed to do.
when you go
You
to
didn't
that,
submit anything. How come you didn't submit anything?
I didn't know where to submit it. I was trying to look on my thing because I saved everything. I even told the new landlord, I said I have all my paperwork.
Uh-huh.
And, so like, so I
On
was
the
like,
on
where
the
should I get
citation that you received, it says on here, attached
What?
to this notice are additional. Okay, it says any evidence you intend to present must be emailed to Rosanna Ayala,
Oh,
and it's got
I
her.
missed that. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, or
No,
you could.
'cause
Yeah.
I have
So
so like I have like all my things where it says like, because I saved everything. So back in April it said 203, then it went to 364 in May, and then in June it went to 522. But then I don't have July. But then it went to August to 1236, and then from August it went to, because I'm missing.
She then walks the court through her payment history, showing how the balance kept increasing month after month. From April to November, the amount kept rising, with missing records and sudden jumps. By the end, the total had grown to over $2,500, far beyond what she expected.
September, which is September, I paid the 518, and then in October it went to 2075, and then in November it's now 2,500.
okay. So
So
let me ask
either way
Ms.
it
Wise.
goes, like I said.
Let me ask Ms. Wise. Ms. Wise, do you have a copy of that ledger?
Yes, I have the ledger. So it looks like she did pay in September. It does look like 518, but she still owed $1,623 after that in September. And then she hasn't made any more payments since then, which I understand she said that they wouldn't accept it.
Yeah.
That was including, there's some late fees and electric and some other fees that are included.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like more legal fees on there.
I just see one legal.
The tenant also questions multiple legal fees listed on her account. She insists she was not taken to court that many times to justify those charges. Although management told her they would fix the issue, nothing seemed to change, and the unexplained fees remained.
I see one was taken off in July, and I just see one in September for legal fees and court costs.
So
Okay,
where
so
did she?
it sounds like it's the
What
2,500.
what court did you go to, Ms. Garza?
Hold on. I have it. Just one second, ma'am. It says. Oh, I think it's you, right, Lucy?
Yeah, that's me. You came here?
Yeah, because they said it was for non-renewal.
Okay.
So I did have an email where I was Loretta or the other lady where I did renew my lease.
Okay.
So then that got dismissed, and then in September I paid the 518, but then when October came, she was telling me that it was 2,000 something, like, which I have the paper here. So when they took me to court this time, now it's like 2,500 plus.
At this point, the judge reviews the official ledger. It confirms that the tenant made a payment in September, but a balance still remained afterward. Additional charges such as utilities and fees were included, giving the judge a clearer picture of both sides of the situation.
Whatever, that's what I'm saying. So you took off the 5, and then where do you get all 2,500? I know she's saying it's 1,000, but now on the paper that we got, it says 2,500.
Right.
2,536.
Yeah, I see that.
So even like, because you pay on the portal, so if I pay on the portal, it's not going to let me pay because it's saying that I have to pay the full amount. And that's what the lady told me when I tried to take in the money order and Crystal was going to take it. She was like, no, we can't take it because I need the full amount for the 25.
Right. Unfortunately,
so I'm still in the buying that. Even if I pay like the 3 something, and she says, oh, because it's not 236, it's 3. So, because I'm not going to sit here and lie and say, you know what I mean? That I paid October, which I didn't because she refused the money order. So even if I pay that plus 4, and when I go back next month to pay again, she's still going to say, you know what I mean? She's still not going to.
The records show that the tenant had not reached a zero balance since March. Instead, she had been carrying a balance for months, with late fees and additional charges stacking up over time. This ongoing debt created a snowball effect, making it harder for her to catch up.
Take my rent.
Yeah, apparently, if what it sounds like to me, that you've had balances and they've been adding up, and so since you didn't pay for November, then they went ahead and attached that, and then December, and here we are in January. Okay, so the portal won't take it. They've been instructed by corporate that you have to pay the whole amount before they let you stay. Yeah, that's what's going on. Okay.
Yeah, so when they're taking me to court, they're taking me to court for the 3 something, so that's what I'm paying. You know what I mean? That's the court cost. So it's like the last time they had 236, the rent was wrong, so they adjusted it, whatever. So then I tried to do the money order because at first I couldn't get on the portal because it wasn't showing me anything. Then Crystal helped me. And so she helped me, and she's all like, well, it's going to get fixed, but...
The judge then explains what likely happened. According to corporate policy, management may refuse partial payments until the full balance is paid. This would explain why her money orders were rejected, but it also trapped her in a cycle where she couldn't reduce her debt.
So, you know what I mean?
Ms. Weiss, what's her balance? What's the true balance is she supposed to have?
I don't have the ledger through January yet. The ledger I have shows 2335.31.
25.
The one I show shows 2335.31.
Okay. Does it explain how did they get to that?
It looks like she hasn't been current with a zero balance since March 1st.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, March 1st has a zero balance, but since then she has always had a balance.
Always had a balance. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's what's going on. That's what's going on, Ms. Garza, is that you
So you're basically telling me I owe 3,500 then? Because if you took off the 518.
The judge issues the first ruling, focusing only on unpaid rent for November, December, and part of January. The total comes to just over $300 in rent, and with court costs added, the judgment reaches $712. However, this amount does not include other fees or utilities.
Yeah, they carried that balance. You know, they've carried that balance and carried that balance, and of course, then you get the late fees, and on top of that, and then whatever you owe as utilities, then they're tacked on. So that's how it's come up to that amount.
There's not that much. Because my rent was only $23. So there's no, that's a whole lot of late fees. You go from $1,000 to $200,000, like from $20. So
yeah, you might want to go talk to them and have them explain to you how they came up with that amount. You know, unfortunately, they're only the amount that I'm going to assess is what they have on here. Is that you didn't pay for November, which is $118. You didn't pay for December, $118, and then January it's been prorated to $76.12. And so I'll explain that to you. Okay. So let me go ahead and explain the process, all righty? So for case 25 EV 520, Costa Tarragona 1, LTD, DBA Costa Tarragona 1.
The judge clearly explains the legal consequences. The tenant now has only 5 days to act, either pay the amount, file an appeal, or vacate the property. If she fails to do so, eviction procedures will begin, and law enforcement could remove her from the home.
Versus Carmen Garza and Diamond Solis and all other occupants. I rule in favor of the plaintiff in the form of a judgment at said premises 2240 North Padre Island Drive, apartment 4302, 78408, for the amount of $312.12 of unpaid back rent. $400 is the court cost. There's no attorney's fees, for a total judgment of $712.12. This is just for the unpaid back rent. Okay, this does not include any late fees. It does not include anything that for utilities
But
or
that's what
anything.
I'm saying. Like, I'm still gonna be, even though I pay that, I'm still gonna be in the same bind because you're gonna say you refuse the rent for the following month, like
Right.
they did in October.
Right. You need to go talk to them and have them explain that to you. Okay, because obviously, like they say, Ms. Weiss just explained, you've carried a balance. The only time that you've had a zero balance was back in March.
A second case begins, introducing another tenant, a single mother struggling to stay afloat. She explains that her financial situation changed suddenly after a breakup, leaving her without support. Now, she is trying to manage everything on her own while caring for her child.
So you've been carrying, balances of whatever it is. I mean, I don't know if you didn't pay or the utilities or whatever they were charging you for, but you need to go in there and talk to them and have them explain that to you. Okay? So let me explain to you. So I'm going to go ahead and assess the appeal bond. It's going to be double it's going to be $500 for the appeal bond. Okay? So let me explain to you. I have to explain to you, this is the law, okay? This is what the law says. The law says you have 5 days to vacate or to appeal. If you don't appeal by the 5th day and you're still in the property, then on the 6th day, the plaintiff can come in and ask for a writ of possession. A writ is an order that goes to the constables. The constables will process that paperwork, will come back to your premises and place a notice on your door that says you have 24 to 48 hours to vacate. If you're still there when they come back, then they'll ask you to leave, and whatever's in the apartment will be placed out onto the curb by the landlord. Now, you may appeal this judgment by filing a bond.
The mother tells the court that she has managed to gather $2,000, hoping it will be enough to keep her in her home. However, she is unsure if the payment will be accepted. She expresses fear and uncertainty, knowing that her housing situation is at risk.
Making a cash deposit or filing a statement of inability to afford court costs. Within the 5 days after this judgment is signed. I will be signing this judgment today. Okay, and this falls into the civil procedures of the Texas rules for 510.9A. Okay, again, you have 5 days to vacate or to appeal, and you can go ahead and talk to them in person and have them explain everything to you. But the law says, obviously you didn't pay for November, you didn't pay for December, and partial rent for January. So that's why you're here. Okay. So
well, they would
again,
have taken my October money order. I wouldn't be where I'm at.
I understand, but I don't know what their procedures are. I don't know what sometimes corporate will tell them that they cannot accept your any payment until you pay what is owed, all the back payment. So I don't know what's going on.
Then I had taken my first payment, my money order for the 518 then.
In the final moment, the judge calculates her total debt at nearly $2,956, including rent and court costs. Just like the first tenant, she is given 5 days to decide her next step: pay, appeal, or leave. The outcome now depends entirely on what she does next.